It would be riveting to know when President Vladimir Putin of Russia ordered his legions across Ukraine's border back in February 2022 what he thought he would be doing round about now. Steepling his fingers and plotting his next triumphal conquest, possibly. Fresh from attending the ceremony at which Kyiv was renamed Putingrad, the independence monument in Maidan Nezhalezhnost, now replaced with a forbiddingly sullen statue of himself. However, as the world has learned, and the hard way repeatedly, it's never easy to be certain what Putin thinks or has thought. His administration has not been any more a model of transparency than a given concrete slab. His more recent public utterances have been a strange mix of paranoid rambling and cod mystical history lectures, and his word in general has proved roughly as reliable as Russia's military hardware, tens of thousands of wrecks of which are now littering the fields of Ukraine's east. But it seems a reasonably safe bet that whatever the Putin of February 2022 thought the Putin of June 2024 would be doing, it was not panhandling in Pyongyang. We are where we are, however, and Putin is therefore visiting North Korea for the first time since 2000. Back then, Putin had just become president and had a couple of days in between meeting then-Chinese President Jiang Zemin in Beijing and then heading to Okinawa for the G8 summit, which was the kind of swanky international wingding to which Russia used to get invited, when hope was still at large that Russia was toying with becoming, at last, a vaguely normal country, or had at least grown out of its predatory tendencies towards the Western neighbours it had held hostage for most of the late 20th century. Putin conferred with North Korea's then Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un, father of the incumbent, who he subsequently hosted in Moscow in 2001 and 2002. The pair harmonized on some pro forma grumbling about the United States, but nobody really took it all that seriously, especially after Russia supported UN sanctions against North Korea over its nuclear weapons program. But even before Russia attacked Ukraine in 2022, relations between Moscow and Pyongyang had grown somewhat warmer. Shortly after Kim Jong-il was succeeded by Kim Jong-un, Russia wrote off a considerable whack of debt that North Korea owed it. In 2019, Putin welcomed Kim Jong-un to Vladivostok.
I propose a toast for the further strengthening of friendship and cooperation between Russia and the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, for the prosperity of the peoples of our countries.
And last year, with Russia's 72-hour lightning conquest of Ukraine by then in its 18th month, Kim's armoured train rolled to the Vostochny Cosmodrome, also in Russia's Far East, also further to travel for host than guest. Kim vouchsafed what he called North Korea's invincible comrade-in-arms relations with Russia and praised Russia for its anti-imperialist stance, an intriguing characterization of invading someone else's country and attempting to annex chunks of it to your own. If we assume, however, that Putin has not travelled all this way for the coherent political analysis and/or an especially exclusive fridge magnet, we have to ponder what it is he does want. First, and most obviously, Putin wants more stuff to fire at Ukraine. It is beyond much serious doubt that North Korea is supplying Russia with ammunition. Investigators from Conflict Armament Research have identified North Korean missile wreckage in Ukraine, along with evidence that said missiles are crammed with European and American parts, which North Korea has somehow acquired despite sanctions. Boffins at the Royal United Services Institute have tracked 4 Russian cargo ships chugging back and forth to North Korea. RUSI estimates that at least 7,000 containers have already been delivered. However, the procurement of weapons does not necessitate schlepping all the way to a place and then sitting through hours and bloody hours of remorseless ceremonial caper while doggedly maintaining a facial expression which does not radiate murderous boredom. And judging from the footage which has emerged from Pyongyang, Putin is copping it especially heavy on the choirs of flag-waving infants front. You could almost feel sorry for him. And doubtless North Korea would be happy enough with a check. But Putin and Kim both want the spectacle as a demonstration and/or warning of their burgeoning alliance. It's a relationship which suits Russia and North Korea, at least within the diplomatic limits placed upon each by pariah or semi-pariah status. Russia gets not only the hardware, but a partner in the parallel world order Putin mutters intermittently about assembling. Prior to embarking, he had someone write an op-ed for North Korean state media, like North Korea has any other kind, in which he welcomed North Korea aboard his crusade to prevent the West from, as his amanuensis put it, hindering the establishment of a multipolar world order based on mutual respect for justice. Which is arguably somewhat lofty talk from someone whose travel plans are limited by the reach of an ICC arrest warrant. North Korea gets Russia's money, possibly, or so it hopes, some of Russia's military technology, a patron and protector it can play off against China, and attention, a commodity North Korea values to the extent that, as has recently been demonstrated, it will descend to such puerile pranks as floating bags full of garbage attached to balloons over the demilitarized zone into a baffled South Korea. Russia and North Korea have also signed some sort of mutual defense pact, each promising to saddle up should the other find itself beleaguered, showing that Russia and North Korea, whatever their other dissimilarities, share a failure to reflect on their rancorous relations with their neighbours and wonder if the problem might be them. For Monocle Radio, I'm Andrew Mueller.